Well, we stopped at Pearl Harbor, naturally, just to get some more supplies. And then we joined up with the task force. I think it was Nimitz was the task force. We joined up with that other carriers and went right out to sea, right out to war. We'd only been out there about 4 or 5 months before we got hit with a kamikaze. There were crazy fools all everywhere. You know, we got hit almost a couple of times. We got them before they got to us. But this one crashed. I got blown down the ladder on the flight deck, but I didn't get hurt. Well, there were 3 of them come in, and we fired on them until there was nothing but a ball of flame, and I see him coming. I was on the flight deck. I have nowhere to hide, so I just dove into the island structure. When I did, he hit just beyond me by the gun mount, but the concussion seemed like my belly went in and went back out and blew me down the ladder, and I landed on an officer who was laying down there. I hit him with a steel helmet and I went down. I said, "Whoops, sorry, sir." And then I went back up the deck and we put out the fire. It killed 100 and some odd men, that kamikaze coming in. But he got us right near our aft 5-inch 38s. The other 2, one dropped the bomb, went between our stack, and he missed us. And then he pulled up and crashed into the Bellow Wood, which was another small Jeep, crashed into that one. The other one we shot down a piece, he didn't make it. A lot of other ships were shooting at him, but we were too. But some of them, the one that hit us was hit with everything but the kitchen sink, shall we say. Nothing but a ball of flame. I imagine he might have been dead before he hit us. But he had it aimed right at us, and we just couldn't get out of the way. They were all over the place. Did I feel it? Yeah, I felt like my belly was pulled in and sucked back out. Just blew me down. I can't describe the sensation of a bomb coming that close to you. Because you think he was carrying a bomb, naturally, when he hit us. Killed 100 and some odd men, put a big hole in that deck when we had to go back to the States to get it repaired.
How long did it take to put the fires out?
Oh, and not very long. We had a good crew there, put foam, what they call foam, soapy stuff on it. It didn't take probably very long. He crashed from there and he went down halfway down in the flight hangar deck down below. And to clean up the damage was more than any. We had to board up some room. We still had planes in the air. We had to land. But he hit the flight deck, but he hit off to the side. So we still had our flight deck to land. Went back to Bremerton, Washington. Got the flight deck repaired, took on another crew, picked up Nimitz task force again, joined up with a big one. In fact, when we got hit, we were with a task force of battle wagons, cruisers, destroyers, and other carriers. We think what it was, we were on invasion of softening up the Japanese coast. That's what we think we were on. We had an awful lot of ships. And that's what we were in. And we fought the islands all the way coming down. We were in invasion of Midway and some of the other islands on the way down. I can't remember them all. No, we never saw them. We know we were in them, but our planes went down the bomb runs and stuff like that. That's all the carrier did. We didn't see any land, but we knew that we were giving support to the boys who were over shore. The ships, carriers, we stayed away from that thing. You know, our planes, torpedo planes, dive bombers, and sprinting and winning this strife and helping out the boys. The task force, monstrous. And we had more cruisers and more carriers I've ever seen in my life. And it stretched out between tin cans, cruisers, battle wagons, and carriers. And landing ships and everything else. That's what we saw. But we didn't stay too long in that because once we got hit, you know, it was too bad. We were lucky we was even able to come back, you know. When it got hit, well, really, I don't know, because I just got done shower, and I stepped into the bathroom to comb my hair, and just as I stepped out, we got hit, and the general quarters sounded. The plane came out of the clouds. I understand that Bennington, which is operating behind me, alerted us that with the plane coming out of the clouds that they finally picked up. Our radar wasn't very good then. They caught us flat-footed. Dropped two 250-pound bombs, one aft and run in the front. Perfect hits. Just wiped us out. And I was down there below the hangar deck, and that's when I was rescued down there with 3 other men. Knew where there was an air vent. We got in that. The only thing, otherwise I sucked up more smoke from the compartment. I finally made it into that. Went down on the ladder, day down the bottom, way back out, kicked out a vent up the thing, and got up on the flight deck. I escaped. But I had an awful lot of smoke on me, and I kind of laid on the flight deck to get air, and an officer come aboard. Came up on me and told me to get off the ship. cruiser had picked up beside us by then, and they had a plank across, and a lot of men that were hurt, and we didn't need them. And if they were crews back there fighting the fires, and he figured, you didn't need me, so they let me go, and I come back with the cruiser. The Santa Fe, that was the one that was there. And while it was attached to us with lines and so forth, and they would try to spray water to put some of the flame out, and kept yelling. You could hear them yell to our captain, flood the magazines, flood the magazines. We were blowing ourselves up. But a lot of it wasn't from the magazines, it was a lot from the planes we had on. We had tiny Tims and big, all kinds of stuff. All the planes were refueled for a hit. And it just blew us apart back there. Plus the bomb that went in, 250-pound bomb, it was, and then we got one up front that hit. A lot knows about that hit too. That might have hit some of our magazines too. An awful lot of holes, that's for sure. I could see all that fire, but, because I felt when it hit too, and there was an awful lot of smoke, screaming of men that was in there, my compartment, and everything else. Thank God I didn't get that. And they tried to get out of the compartment, and there was nothing but a ball of flame come down into that compartment. When that thing went through there to the hangar deck, which is steel, it's just spread a ball of fire. All the men that were at chow, waiting in the line, disintegrated them. That's why it was such a heavy casualty. We lost almost 900 men and over 200 wounded on that thing. It was one of the worst casualties for one ship in the Navy, which we're not very proud of. But it was. Well, like they say, I went up on the flight deck and got my wind, and the officer sent me aboard the cruiser, and they took me and all the ones that they had got out of the water, and that they had 200 or 300 men on that thing with Franklin. We went back to an AKA and loaded us on a supply ship, and we took on wounded from Iwo Jima, and from there back to Pearl Harbor. I'd sat there for 6 months, and when I was there, they dropped the atomic bomb while I was there. So the war was over before I did anything else.